Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. All glories to the devotees of Cologne. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Now this is for Shrilesh. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath. Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Now this is for Manish and his family. Hari Bol. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Hari Gopala Hari Gopala Hari Govinda Hari Govinda Hari Gopala Hari Jaya Rama Hari Jaya Krishna Hari Govinda Gopala Gopala Govinda. This is for Bhukshani family. For Bhukshani family. Krishna 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 Hey Krishna 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 Hey Krishna 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 Rakshama. Krishna 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 Pahima. Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama. Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahima. Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama. Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahima. And this is for the rest of the Cologne devotees. May Krishna bless you and protect you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For Jivan Kumar family, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now for Raj, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For Jitendra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For Shyam Jaina, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For Sunil, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For Kishore, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gauda Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gauda Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, my manager, Sri Lace, said to keep the talk very general. I don't know why. Most of you people are already advanced, but that's what he said, that's what I'll do. So, let me first invoke auspiciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I don't know if I was doing it back in the Cologne, Panama days, but for the past so many years, before I begin speaking, I recite my two favorite other mantras that puts me in the proper mood. Trinadapi Sunichena Tara Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Lord Chaitanya instructs that in order to attain love of God, in order to chant nicely, I must be in a humble state of mind. I must offer respects to everyone, so I'm going to do that. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo kalon vaishnavya namo namaha. And I must also not want any respect or honor, and I must be more tolerant than a tree. If I can do those four things, then easily I can chant Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam, Kro Nastyeva Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatiranyata. And of course, Manish knows, because when I see Manish, he reminds me of Prabhupada, because Manish has great affection for Prabhupada. In all the years that I would visit, he would always ask me to speak about Prabhupada. So, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance in a Malecha Yavana family. But my merciful spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, in April of 1974, accepted me as his disciple. And that has made all the difference in my life. Indeed, the only reason why we are having this today is because Prabhupada came to America and instituted Krishna consciousness. So my little talk will be the difference between religion and Krishna consciousness. All of you are Hindu, so you have been brought up with the concept of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, the four principles, that it is the Vedas which teach one should be religious, one should be pious, one should act properly, one should not be sinful. And if one does that, then the benefit will be one will get material economic development, because that is the fruit of living a pious life. You get what you need. And with that economic development, or artha, one can then enjoy the senses, kama, sense gratification. Although nowadays, thanks to this COVID, our sense gratification is very much curtailed. All over the world, people cannot enjoy like they used to. Here where I live in America, the Americanos are freaking out. They can't go to the restaurant, you can't go here, they can't go there. Their life of sense gratification has been severely restricted. So after enjoying the material senses, we learn from Bhagavad Gita that it has to end in frustration, because there is no satiation, there is no real happiness on the material platform of life. We learn from Bhagavad Gita there is happiness in the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of passion, and believe it or not, happiness in the mode of ignorance. But their results are different. But in either case, whether you enjoy in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, your enjoyment is limited and temporary. So because our enjoyment is liberated and limited and temporary, ultimately we become frustrated. Why? Because we are looking for eternal happiness. That is what everyone is looking for. But that's not to be found on the material platform. The material energy is not designed by God to give you eternal happiness. Otherwise, why is it even the billionaires are unhappy? You would think, we all think, oh, if I had $1 million, then I would be happy. But we see even the billionaires, they have 1, 2, 3 billion. They want more. Why? Because they're not happy. They think I must have more. So there is no real happiness, eternal happiness, on the bodily or even mental platform of life, not through sense gratification. So the Vedas teach, once you become utterly frustrated with this cycle of sense gratification, then you seek out moksha, or liberation. So all the religions of the world are based on this principle. Live a pious life, live a religious life, gain something to enjoy with, and then when you are fed up, then seek salvation or liberation. But those who know about Krishna consciousness, especially those who have learned from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is something beyond liberation. Yes, this is what attracts me. There's something beyond salvation. So many years I would go out on the streets chanting in the kirtan or distributing books, and my fellow Christians would come up to me and say, "Are you saved?" And I would reply, "Oh, I am more than saved. I have something beyond salvation." And that would startle them. Yes, Lord Chaitanya says there is something beyond liberation, beyond salvation. Lord Chaitanya says, Prema Pumarto Mahan. It is called Panchama Purusha Artha. This Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha are called Purusha Arthas, the goal of human life. But Lord Chaitanya says, no, there's something beyond this, beyond liberation. Prema Pumarto Mahan. Love of God. That is what is Krishna consciousness. It's beyond religion. When we talk about love of God, we are talking about the absolute truth, the source of all that be. Now, when we come to the discussion of the goal of life, when we begin to inquire about the absolute truth, the very first line of the Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. The very first line of the Vedanta Sutra is, therefore, now that you find yourself a human being, you should inquire into the nature of the absolute truth. This is above religion. Because religion basically means rules, regulations, commandments. Don't do this, do this. But beyond that, there is this inquiry into the absolute truth. What is the absolute truth? That from which everything comes, that from which everything is sustained, and that from which everything will ultimately enter. That is the absolute truth. And anyone who has seriously studied Bhagavad Gita, and I'm sure all of you read Bhagavad Gita every day, since you're all good Hindus, so I'm sure you all are reading Bhagavad Gita every day. If not, should be. You'll see that Krishna many times says, I am the absolute truth. Everything comes from me. There is no truth superior to me. Krishna says these things several times throughout Gita. Chapter 7, chapter 10, and elsewhere. He points out, I am that absolute truth. No one is equal to me. No one is superior to me. So now, this is what we're talking about, inquiry into the absolute truth. So in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya was having a discussion with the famous Prakashananda Saraswati. He was the leader of the Mayavad Sankaracharya Sampradaya, but he became a follower of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was also discussing with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was also considered, he was in charge of the Jagannath temple. How many of you have been to that Jagannath temple in Puri? You're very lucky, because I was not allowed entrance into that temple. Maybe you heard me tell the story, I'll tell it again. I was the guest of one Gujarati Parekh family, but they said you were not allowed because you are not Hindu. So there was a building behind the Jagannath temple, and so I was waiting there while my host family was visiting the temple. And one gentleman, he must have been somebody connected with the temple, he brought me some Jagannath Prasad, some nice khichdi from Jagannath. That's the best khichdi, Jagannath Prasad. And so I was eating that prasad, and this gentleman said, oh, you're from America? I said, yes. My dear sir, can you get me green card? He thought I could get him a green card so he could live in America. So I said to him, oh, no problem. I can get you green card, but first you get me inside the Jagannath temple. Then I will get you green. He said, oh, no, I cannot give you green card. I don't know why Krishna made me said that, but that's what came to my mind at that time. I still remember that. I can still remember the khichdi in a nice leaf pot made out of leaves. So when Lord Chaitanya was discussing with Sarvabhauma and with Prakashananda, Lord Chaitanya said the Vedas, all the Vedas, they're teaching three things, that's all. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. This is what the Vedas are actually teaching. Sambandha, relationship. We learn from Bhagavad Gita that we have a constitutional, eternal relationship with God, with Krishna. Krishna says, Ahang Bijapradak Pita, I am your seed-giving father. So there's one reference. Krishna claims us as his father. And then there's another shloka where Krishna says that you are my part and parcel. I see Manish with his two sons. I remember when they were young. Now, my God, they've grown up so big. And I saw previously your little Krishna showed up for a few seconds. Where did he go? Tell him to come back. It's time to hear about the absolute truth. And Shrilesh, you also have two sons, right? Where are they? They should be hearing this katha. And Kishore, where is your boy? All right. Anyway, Krishna says, Mamai Bangso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Krishna claims us that we are his Angsha. Just like your children are, hello there, young Bhukshani. Just like your children, there they are. See, the two sons of Manish. Very good. So they are your Angsha, Manish. You're part and parcel. So Krishna says, you, all of us are his Angsha. We're his children. We are all children of God. I wrote a song many, many years ago. You're one of God's beautiful children. Why can't we live life in peace? So it's based on that teaching that we are all part and parcel of Krishna. We're all Krishna's children. So we should get along. Everyone is our brother. Everyone is our sister. We have common father, Krishna. So Sambandha means somehow or other we have forgotten that. We have all, to a lesser or greater degree, forgotten that we are Krishna's part and parcel. Because if we were cognizant of that, then we would always act in that understanding. But we don't. We act in so many ways. So the first thing the Vedas are teaching is to convince us once and for all we have an eternal relationship with God, with Krishna. That relationship is based on service. Prabhupada writes in his books, service is the most congenial form of intimacy. That's like, here I am. I'm also quarantined here in California. My wife is downstairs. She has been working from home now since March. So we have a relationship. And that relationship is based on service. So every day she's doing her work. She's also cooking and cleaning and doing so many things. So that's service. That is how she shows love. And we also, as husbands and fathers, we render service to the family. We render service to the children, right? Your children. Takes a lot of work to raise your children, does it not? Yes. Lot of anxiety, lot of worry, lot of hard work to maintain a family. To make a family, that's easy. Oh, no problem. To make a child, easy, enjoyable. But to maintain, that's a whole nother, as we say, ball of wax. But you do it because you derive pleasure from rendering service. So in the same way, sometimes people ask, why do we exist? And the answer given is that we exist to render service to God, and it is reciprocal. God is doing so much service for us. Sunlight, the air, the water, supplying food, so many things. Right now, looks like all of us are healthy, right? None of you have the corona. So that is God's blessing upon you. And I will bless you also. May the corona never go near any of you. We will, at the end of the program, I will sing the Nasringa prayers and we will drive out the corona from Cologne. We will drive it out. So God is doing so much service for us, and all He wants us to do is render some service to Him. So Sambandha is there, the instructions of the Vedas are there to teach us that we have an eternal relationship and that should be acted upon. So the activities of understanding that I am the eternal servant of Krishna, that is called Abhideya. And it takes its tangible form when you take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master and he engages you in the 9 processes of bhakti. My favorite bhajan, Bhaja Hure Mana, the final verse. Sravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dhasyare Pujana Saki Janatman Nivedan Govinda Das Abhi Lashare. Prahlad Maharaj was asked by his demoniac father, my son, I have sent you to school. Tell me what nice things you are learning. And the 5-year-old boy said, I'm not learning anything in that stupid school of yours. What I know best is what I learned in the womb of my mother from my guru, Narada Muni. And he taught me the 9 processes: hearing, chanting, remembering, praying, worshiping, serving, befriending, surrendering to Krishna. That is the topmost education, Prahlad said. So the spiritual master practically engages us in these 9 items. So this program that we're doing right now, I heard a rumor that we might be doing more than one. I would be happy to do this program every day of the week. I would derive great satisfaction. As often as you like, I am available for the Cologne devotees because I love you, because we have so many memories from the past. Anyway, we are meant to, so this program is hearing, the first item. Everything starts from hearing. So this program is essential, most essential. Hearing the glories of the Lord, chanting and remembering. So Abhideya means practical, just like I'm sure all of you have deities and you're offering things to your deities every day or dressing the deities. Yes, that is pujana, worshiping. So we are meant to render service to God, to Krishna. Now comes the third, prayojana, the fruit, the result. Because someone will say, all right, you say I have an eternal relationship with God and that I should serve Him. So what's in it for me? Why should I do it? What am I going to get out of it? It's like you businessmen. Somebody may say, oh, you should make investment here. So a good businessman will say, oh, you want me to invest? What is the return on the investment, sir? That I must know first of all. How risky is this investment? So the fruit, the return on your investment in engaging in service to Krishna is that you develop love of God. We all have some idea of love. Just like you love your family, you love your children. Hopefully, you love your wife and you love your husband. Hopefully. You have some idea of love. You love your parents. So, since God is a person, then, and did I not say, originally we're all part of His family. So it is only natural to develop love for God, love for Krishna. And that is another of Lord Chaitanya's basic teachings. Lord Chaitanya says that basically everyone dormant in the heart has love of Krishna. Everybody without exception. Yes, there are so many demons now in the world. There are presidents and prime ministers. As you can see, the whole world has gone to hell because of these demoniac leaders, especially in the United States. We have a buffoon for a president. So, we are led by these bogus leaders. But the supreme leader, we all have a dormant love for. It's in the heart. It's already there because you're part and parcel. So by executing these 9 items of devotional service, and hearing and chanting are the most important, that dormant love of Godhead gradually awakens little by little by little. And when you are completely purified, it'll make you so happy, you'll be glowing with love. So that's my little talk for today. And before I turn it over to Shrilesh, I will sing the Nishringa prayers, and specifically to drive out the coronavirus from Cologne. Haribol Chandru Sharma, Haribol. Namaste Nara Singhaya Prahlada Klada Dayane Hiranya Kashipur Bhakshaha Shila Tankana Kalaye Ito Nrsinga Parato Nrsinha Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsinha Bahir Nrsinga Hridaye Nrsinha Nrsinha Madim Sharanam Prapadye Nrsinghamadim Sharanam Prapadye Tavakara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Chanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahadi Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadrita Narahadi Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadish Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. My dear Lord Krishna, please bless all the devotees of Cologne. Protect them, maintain them, and bless them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.